Imagine if I told you that in just 3 months, you might transform into a completely different person from the one you are now. In practice, it is not the case. Your body language, your speech, and your ability to remain calm under fire. Imagine for a moment that 3 months from now, you will have replaced your hesitating, scrolling, second-guessing self with someone more powerful, focused, a builder, a closer, a force, an actual choice, not an abstract idea. In addition, you must watch this video in its entirety if you intend for the following 3 months to be the most influential, self-controlled, and life-altering period of your life. Watch it again if you want to really appreciate it. This isn't about hype. Method by method, ritual by ritual, mentality by mentality. This is the way to achieve it. Here is the plan you've been seeking. The first thing I want to do is clarify something. This will not inspire you. You won't feel good about this. This is an act of war, a proclamation that you will no longer tolerate the old self, your limiting habits, and the pretexts that you continue to use as evidence. You have 3 months to make a decision. Go all in or settle for mediocrity. Because, let's face it, 3 months isn't magic. It's arithmetic. Habits that rewire your identity may be built in only 3 months of extreme consistency. It's sufficient to transform incremental victories into insurmountable momentum. That's more than enough to surpass the vast majority of individuals who are only going through the motions, fooling themselves into thinking that someday is a genuine goal. However, you won't achieve any of that unless you commit fully, block out all distractions, and see this as your last opportunity to follow through. You've stated your readiness before, but this time you demonstrate it. And if you're committed to this route, then subscribe immediately, because I'll be at your side every step of the way, for the rest of today and the days to come. This is not a shallow dive. It is an in-depth exploration. The world will not recognize the you who exits on day 90 if you remain committed and stay locked in. Still, here is where it all begins. In only 90 days, you must turn the switch. You may destroy the old blueprint here in this video. Why don't we start over? We can construct a new one. If a guy has made up his mind, he will not budge. Not in a symbolic sense, not with half-heartedness, and not with an other strategy stashed away. He takes the doorknob off. He prevents any possibility of retreat. And he changes into someone different as a result of that choice, that genuine choice. At the latest, without delay. This is the definition of locking in right now. You learn to concentrate, focus, and shape your life in only 90 days. You are progressively becoming different from your past self with each passing day. On top of that, your brain develops new neural pathways to accept it daily. Hard science and psychology both factor into this. The way your brain works is based on patterns and repetition. A mental groove is carved into your brain with each decision you make. The first time is the only time. Remember to do it twice. Maintain this routine for 90 days straight with no exceptions, excuses, or compromises. That is what defines you. When you change your identity, you stop trying. Yeah, you totally are. You are the kind of person that gets up early. Giving it your best is just your nature. Your character dictates that you choose discipline above ease. 30 days are important for this reason. This is not because it's sufficient time to experiment, but rather because it's sufficient time to establish oneself. We must be honest. Nothing here is hyperbolic. This pertains to the physical sciences. Forward motion. People tend to reset too often, which prevents them from ever gaining momentum. After 3 days, they take a break. They put in a week and then take 2 weeks off. They're forever looking for the next big thing, and they're never satisfied. They put their faith in inspiration, yet inspiration lies. Actually, self-control is key. Discipline doesn't inquire about your emotions. Are you tired? It doesn't inquire. It is unconcerned with the current climate or the activities of your pals. When you put discipline into motion, you generate momentum. What transforms effort into automaticity is momentum. When it's present, effort becomes flow. That's the deciding factor between the one who continues trying and the one who succeeds. Something shifts when you reach a tipping point, when your behaviors become second nature, when your body adjusts, and when your mind perceives evidence. At this point, you will feel a tugging rather than a pushing action from the job. But there is a bumpy road ahead that must be traversed in order to reach the destination. Most people never get over that obstacle. Please keep this in mind, however. Do not be afraid of the resistance. The signal is this. As a result, you're progressing. Put it in your mind. Without strain, the muscles will not expand. Repetition is key to honing the talent. When one's identity changes, it often causes emotional upheaval. The edge is when things become tough, when you feel like giving up, and when your old habits start to nudge you in the wrong direction. A lot of folks give up there. You're missing the mark there. Your decision has been made. Feeling happy is not the determining factor in a genuine choice. Becoming excellent is the goal. Embracing your future self will cost you discomfort. It won't be free for you to receive. You can't take it easy on the road to change. The cost will be on you. With determination, concentration, and vitality. Everything belongs to you once you own it. Your identity serves as a shield. That frame of mind serves as your driving force. Because of it, everything changes after that. There is a noticeable change in the individual after 90 days of locking in. His brain has been conditioned to follow purpose rather than emotion. He's gotten into the habit of turning up while nobody's watching. The tales from "I'm attempting" to "I am" have been rewritten by him. Therefore, this is the option. Instead of tinkering with the concept of change, do you actively embody it? Because when you throw caution to the wind and cut off all means of escape, you compels your neurological system, surroundings, and habits to conform to the new norm you've established. In such way, one's identity is formed over the course of 90 consecutive days rather than just one. Therefore, you should not wait for the road to feel smooth. This will not work. That shouldn't happen. Experiencing pain is not cause for alarm. That thing is verdant. Lean in, keep moving, keep building. That's your cue. Because if you remain committed in 3 months, you will experience more than simply a change in mood. When you change, no one will be able to identify you. Even more crucially, the guy you once were will not return. When you're going through a change, there comes a point when you cease worrying about "what should I do?" and begin to insist, "what is required?" At last, the time has come. This video's first 2 segments provide the groundwork. A fire was started. However, the furnace is constructed here. Here is where we build an impenetrable fortress. In fact, it will be more difficult to fail than succeed. Here is the 90-day lock-in plan I've prepared. It's effective, brutally basic. It's not designed to be easy to use. Intentionally, it will push you to grow. During these 3 months, we will focus on 4 main areas. Non-negotiable things you will accomplish every single day. You may hone a certain aspect of your character with the help of each pillar. And when you do them together, day after day, they shape you into someone who is more formidable, powerful, and lucid than you have ever been. Now, we'll examine each one in turn. Mind, the first pillar. you are not capable of surpassing your own ideas. Deliberately devote 1 hour every day for the next 90 days to nourishing your intellect. You can't call this passive content. Reading good literature, thinking carefully about your past and present, and writing down your ideas, objectives, and affirmations are all examples of concentrated input. Building perspective, not enjoyment, is the goal of this hour. Now is the moment to install robust software into your mind. Just how crucial is this? Simply put, the majority of individuals operate without thinking. They eat useless food. They have a lot of thoughts, but they're filled with views, negativity, and diversions. No, you're not going to. At least, not at the moment. Your thinking will be your biggest asset going forward. Read works that push you to your limits. Challenge yourself with your writing. Think about your actions, your motivations, and the person you are becoming into. Spending an hour a day on it improves more than just your mind. This experience changes who you are. You start to alter your speech, your movements, and your strategic thinking. Why? Just because you've been feeding your head purpose rather than garbage. Additionally, a new operating system has been deployed within the last 90 days. Part 2. The physical structure. Mind and body work hand in hand. The body is subservient to the intellect. Your training regimen consists of daily sessions, at least 30 minutes. Ideally, up to 60. Strictness, not perfection, is what matters. No matter what you do, run, lift, box, stretch, climb, hike, you're really moving. That is all. Aesthetics are irrelevant here. It's all about effort and self-control. Your body is the foundation of your being, and when it's weak, your resolve will crumble. Before long, your thoughts will start to bleed. A loss of motivation will occur. A gym isn't necessary. You can get by without a coach. A playlist is unnecessary. You must be dedicated. Sweat every day. Always challenge yourself. Flush out uncertainty. Develop a tolerance for pain. Learn to relax in difficult situations, because making a choice results in perspiration. Weakness is not an option when I bargain. Quickly, your physical form will serve as a mooring, an amplifying factor. Your weight isn't the only thing it can support. It can accommodate your requirements. Mission, the third pillar. A little bit at a time, you construct the dream every day. Many individuals fall short in this area. Upon awakening, they allow life to unfold before them. Not you. You dedicate 3 hours of undisrupted time each day to perfecting your art, following your passion, and realizing your dreams. Stay focused. Just scroll down. Put down the phone. At least 15 minutes. Just write if you call yourself a writer. Being a company builder entails just that. Building. You train when you want to acquire new skills. Finding your mission, if you haven't already, is your mission. You read aloud. Write in your journal. You provide an effort. In either case, you begin construction. You keep going till you get some answers. In what ways is 90 minutes insufficient? Reason being, the vast majority of individuals never devote even half an hour each week to achieving their objectives. Plus, they bemoan the fact that there is no change. With everyday practice, this time block becomes your competitive advantage. It builds up. Competence is enhanced. Your paths diverge. There are 105 hours in 70 days if you work 90 minutes every day. If you want to perfect a part-time work, that's it. Here is where you construct the invisible. Once it's finished, they will sense it. Section 4. A state of quiet. If you're always thinking, you'll never be able to see your potential. You are commanded to sit quietly for 10 to 20 minutes daily. No way to get in touch. Complete silence. I am not stimulated. Quiet and uninvolved. You alone. Breathe. within you, having you here. The defragmentation process begins here. In this place, you reintegrate with your own being. This quiet is not a squandering of time. Concentration is being fine-tuned. It's the place where tension melts away. There, you may generate ideas. Remembering what really matters happens there. Sitting in meditation is an option. Out in nature, you may stroll. Lie down on the floor and take deep breaths. To hell with it. It is crucial that you detach yourself from the distractions and concentrate on your purpose. Most individuals can't function without constant stimulation, which means their ideas aren't really original. You are going to end that pattern. Train yourself to be present. Reason being, power is the result of clarity, which in turn is the result of presence. We will now delve farther. The chaos that exists in most people's minds is often underestimated. More input, stimulus, and movement in their minds equals productivity. But the top dogs, the ones who can land a pinpoint shot, stillness, in their view, isn't only the lack of activity. Intelligent execution is built upon it. You need to let your thoughts roam freely and gather their own thoughts. Quietness does not imply passivity. There's alignment. Healing has begun. At this point, your central nervous system will reset, your eyes will clear, and your fixation will be fine-tuned. Get comfortable. Take deep breaths. No way to get in touch. Playing silently. No more than that. No one else. And initially, you may encounter some pushback. Very well done. In other words, your mind is cleansing itself. Raise the ideas. Just let them go. Keep quiet and observe. Quiet down. You are not here. Just sit back and let everything go away. Increase your attention by doing this for 10 to 20 minutes every day. No negotiating on the fifth pillar. What you promise to accomplish will be carried out. That is all. The turning point from kid to man, from speech to transformation, occurs at this pillar. This is the program code that makes the whole thing work. When there is no room for bargaining, days are not lost. No room for excuses from you. You can't let your emotions dictate how you set your standards. An internal contract has been drafted. On the first day of this 90-day sprint, you signed it. After that point, there's no turning back. The majority of individuals fail to grasp this because you don't need natural skill to succeed. This is an issue with negotiations. Their beginning is powerful. When things become tough, however, they start babbling to themselves. Okay, I'll just skip today. Doing things more slowly tomorrow is my plan. This is all I can take. As a result, individuals begin to erode their own identities gradually. Subconsciously, they train themselves. You can't trust my word. No, you are not. In either case, you're going to act on it. The identity change occurs at moments of difficulty, boredom, inconvenience, and particularly inconvenience. Your future self will begin to believe you at that point. Having no wiggle room does not guarantee flawlessness. It denotes not giving up. You can always catch up the next night if you skip your serious work block. Make up for lost time by working out twice as hard the next day. However, you must not let yourself be gullible. Currently, no. At this stage, no. Keep that phrase in mind. Embracing your future self will cost you discomfort. The cost of becoming the best version of yourself is pain. I say it again. The payment is due every day. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like this line to the same extent that I do. You will not be able to transform your life by following this to the letter every single day without exception. This is the outcome. Mental acuity increases. You start making judgments more quickly. Your eyesight has improved. You have more refined ideas. You harness the power inside your own body, both in your outward look and your manner of demeanor. sure of oneself, quite competent, composed. A new phase of your quest begins. You are no longer confined to excessive contemplation. It's like clockwork for you. Because you've practiced being quiet, focused, and composed, you exude an irresistible charm. You've distinguished yourself from the dispersed many, and your devotion has become your own essence. Discontinued as an experiment, you just are what you are today. That is the only purpose of the 90-day commitment. Rather than becoming someone who requires convincing to succeed, the goal should be to become someone who can do it on their own. Reminders are unnecessary for you. Praise is unnecessary. No more than that. Building is all you do. Life is experienced in a unique way. Why? Because when he dealt with the previous you, he did so out of a mix of dread, comfort, and mistrust. He has one rule for the new version. Discussing prices. You must make choices now that you do not reevaluate tomorrow if you are really committed to change, if you want to truly become someone you have never been. Such choices are referred to as 90-day decisions. Deciding whether or not to proceed isn't something you have a daily say in. Amateurs live like that. So the wise old you reasoned. You transform into a new version of yourself the moment you make that one decision. Confidence is the power at this stage. Your choice on the elimination of items remains in effect. When you're exhausted, renegotiation is not an option. When you are tempted, you don't think twice. If your pals don't understand, there's no use in watering it down. Now that you've made the decision, discipline is the only thing that counts. Which parts are thus eliminated? Things that divert one's attention. Gone. This translates to aimless browsing, continual stimulation, and entertaining but unproductive material. That is not an option. This is a battleground for you. Furthermore, your concentration will be infected by low-value inputs if you let them into your region. So, it's off-limits for you that day unless it increases your mission multiplier. A rumor? Gone. Is there drama? Gone. I am not available to engage in idle chatter that diminishes you. You are either gaining clarity, alignment, and elevation from every interaction you have during the next 3 months, or you are losing precious time and energy. Keep your energy safe, like a safe deposit box. In the face of continual distraction from meaningless chatter, you will be unable to construct anything of lasting value. Next up is booze. We must be forthright. I told you previously, there is no room in a mind that is committed to development, clarity, and growing strength from the inside out for chemicals that blunt one's edge. While alcohol may provide a temporary sense of calm, it really leads to a downward spiral. In addition to lowering your vibration and making it harder to sleep, it also clouds your judgment, making it harder to make decisive actions. Slicing it off. End of sentence. Just for the time being, however. For this stage. In preparation for this dash for personal growth. All right, let's move on to dopamine. The majority of people's brains aren't dependent on diversions. The chemistry of diversion is something they can't get enough of. The sudden hits, the sudden rewards, the alerts, the din, the novelty. Unless you detox, micro-stimulations will keep you preoccupied with chasing after crumbs rather than constructing your kingdom. Resetting your baseline is necessary. There will be no sound. Boredom is the result. It denotes self-control. You won't be chasing dopamine for the next 3 months. They center on teaching your brain to seek satisfaction in things like concentrated effort, in-depth study, physical exertion, and gradual improvement. Initially, you may feel some discomfort. You're doing it perfectly if it happens. Everything depends on the setting you create for this season. Do not do this in a noisy, crowded, or otherwise distracting environment. Let it air dry. Make it disappear. Consecrate it. Sharpen it. A vibe is not being created by you. You are constructing a landing pad. You should be reminded every time you enter your place that here is my sanctuary for victory. Going back to the office. But tasking is out. Quiet down, please. Calm down, zero in, and set out to do something specific. Everything in your house, the kitchen, the bedroom, the phone, the laptop, must integrate into your system. Nothing haphazard, no nonsense. The whole event was planned. Furthermore, the actual location is just one aspect of this. You need to develop a monastic mentality. Limits are a result of this. That includes avoiding those who don't support your journey. Stopping the habit of mindlessly checking your phone every 5 minutes, muting group conversations, and removing applications are all part of this. A vessel for change is being constructed by you. Complete seal. There is no escape. Reason being, you are always communicating with your subconscious whenever you let diversions into your life. I am not being serious here. Discipline breaks down the moment that message becomes ingrained. In contrast, the inverse is true when you get out of bed and do it anyhow, regardless of how dull or painful it is, or if anybody is looking. I am now this person. That's the way you restore your sense of self, by aligning your actions with your values. Extra inspiration is unnecessary for your thoughts. A command is required. You need to get a grip on your emotions and learn to control them. You need to quit waiting for your feelings to pass before acting. You need to train yourself to act despite your emotions. Because you can't expect consistent outcomes if you let your emotions dictate your actions. Now is the time to take charge of your life and reprogram your ideas to support your goals. Neither your frailty nor your desires, nor your anxieties nor your dreams. Thus, make a decision immediately. Exactly what are you standing firm on? Tell me what you're chopping. Tell me what you're burying. Where does your enthusiasm go? And where does it go from here? Once you find the answers to those questions, you become one with those answers. Press the lock button and then proceed. Simply said, this is not an exercise in self-discipline. Becoming someone who completes the objective is the goal here. The inconsistency of most individuals is the real problem, not their lack of strength. Their beginning is powerful. Their enthusiasm grows. They take the time to set out their objectives, purchase the planner, and study the lectures. Unfortunately, their behavior reflects the waning of their emotions. And that is the fundamental issue. They depend on inspiration. To feel prepared, they wait. Desperate for inspiration, they wait. That being said, inspiration is a state of mind. On top of that, emotions might change suddenly. Using unstable fuel to construct an unbreakable existence is futile. Without inspiration, how can you maintain consistency? Building is based on identity, not emotions. An idea known as identity anchoring is the starting point for that. What this implies is that you will no longer behave in the same way as before. You begin to embody the guy you are becoming into. In the future, no. Now is not the time to be confident. Not until the outcomes are seen. You present yourself now as if you have already earned it. You make no effort to cultivate self-control. You stick to your routine. Attempting consistency is futile. Consistency seems to be your default mode in life. Why? For the simple reason that actions are a reflection of who we are. You will continue to quit if that is your self-perception. Do what you say you're going to do if you believe in your ability to see things through thick and thin. Every day, take action from that location until your deeds reshape your self-perception. Playing the part is not important. The key is to embodying it, making choices one by one. Put an end to fixating on objectives next. Put them in once, then put them out of mind. Prioritize systems above objectives. Endpoints are what we call goals. You can go there with the help of a system. Avoid being inconsistent by setting goals. Systems are able to achieve this. You can't get to the top by dwelling on failure all the time. Accomplishing the task at hand is the key to your success. Tell me about your system. Tell me about your morning routine. After work, what's your nightly routine? Could you please describe your work block? Tell me about your exercise routine. When will you read? When is your check-in time? There can't be any brain power required by these technologies since they're so basic. Nobody bargains with you. You move quickly. Everything else is merely operation. You keep tabs on them to back up those systems. Every single one. No partners. Day. Nothing happened until you record it. There's more to it than meets the eye. Truly it is. Your mind will deceive you. Even when you're not, it will tell you that you're excelling. You won't be able to tell it how many workouts you missed. It will change the plot such that your pride is protected. Yet statistics don't mislead. No matter how you felt, data doesn't care. It occurred if it appears on the tracker. In such case, it was useless. Make a habit tracker. Make a calendar instead. You may also use wall-mounted sticky notes. Visualize it. Why? Motive is a powerful tool for the human brain. Success is its favorite thing. The small check mark? Was that box filled out? The reward system is involved in self-control. Stay focused. Confidence is fostered. It makes everything clearer. In spite of your lack of motivation, it forces you to move. Additionally, you will not want to interrupt that winning streak once you see the series of check marks. Your propensity to miss an exercise will decrease. You can second-guess yourself and end up not getting your serious work done before bed. Simply put, you will see the price. Even when inspiration wanes, the tangible cost and awareness will keep you aligned. The next step is to establish a process. Same time to wake up. My morning routine remains unchanged, the same pattern every night. What gives rise to rhythm is ritual. The key to building momentum is rhythm. Effort becomes second nature when momentum is there. We are discussing automation here. The goal here is to create a life where routines control you. It should be the opposite. Is a 90-day commitment what you're after? Then, devoting yourself fully to the early and final hours of each day is a must. There is no chance. End of discussion. Use your morning to set the stage for your day. Your reading, motion, stillness, and purpose. Now is the time to relax and unwind. Taking stock, making tomorrow's plans, and reducing distractions. Start and finish each day on a disciplined note. The center part will be handled automatically. And remember to return to your identity anchor if things get tough. Think about what the guy you're becoming would do in this situation. Would he abstain from smoking? Was he going to aim instead of scroll? Would he admit defeat when faced with discomfort? Would he still get up and do it, even if he was exhausted and had a lot on his plate? Consider that question a life-altering decision. Reason being, you can always find the solution. And the more you make that choice, the more it becomes a part of you. The goal of discipline is not perfection. It's all about finding your groove and staying steadfast. Eliminating decision-making exhaustion is the main goal. Do not wonder if you will be able to work. When you train, you don't wonder whether you will. Because it defines you today. You do it. Prepare the infrastructure. Document the tasks. Firmly establish who you are. And you should never again let inspiration drive your actions. The reason you decide to quit, if such is the case. Because moving forward, you will always be your driving force. On this 90-day journey, you will encounter 3 obstacles. Not because you lack strength, but because change always brings about opposition. As one begins a new chapter in their life, the memories of the previous one always follow. How difficult will it get is not the true question. Will you persist regardless? The first wall is quickly reached. The first signs of resistance appear between days 7 and 10. Their first night together is done. The thrill has faded. As soon as you begin anything new, the dopamine rush wears off. Now, it's just you, the job, and the ghost of your former self attempting to resurrect you. You may have auditory hallucinations. It's excessive. Relax for a while. It's time to take a break. You're wrong. There it is, your former self, seeking solace. Take careful note, however. Our first evaluation is here. Also, you are expected to remain silent while this, who you have been, is revealed by this wall, which is why it is significant. It lays bare all the routines, tricks, and unconscious tendencies that have held you back. Yelling at this wall will not help you overcome it. To overcome it, you must go through it, continually and quietly, doing things in a methodical manner. Your old self will be chipped away with each time you come up, despite opposition. Each and every repetition, page, and concentrated work block. A new mentality is being formed inside you. Additionally, the one you had before, I can feel it. It's stubborn because of it. Additionally, it is the way you can tell you are heading in the correct direction. As a sequel, the second wall follows. Partial day 30. This one is mischievous. You're no longer having trouble. Boredom is all it is. Every step seems the same. Apathy permeates the grind. Everyone is silent. Still no progress to report. Put forth your time and effort. This is the point at which the majority of individuals give up. I suspect it is due to discomfort rather than anything else. Does it really matter if I try? Does it make a difference? Perhaps I ought to switch things up. Comprehend this. Failure is not the enemy on day 30. Avoid it at all costs. The allure of beginning again. To adjust everything. To forsake what's finally working. For the simple reason that it is no longer thrilling. Here, however, brilliance first emerges. Amidst the monotony. Showing up regardless is a discipline. Under the cover of darkness. When there is no change. When the timetable is your only resource. Everything within the system. Just quiet. Swing on, my friend. Because underneath the surface, everything is changing, but you can't see it. They are reprogramming your brain. Your attention is becoming more focused. You are feeling more secure emotionally. You are evolving into a new kind of guy. Under the radar, yet out of habit. Not far from now. You can see it. Day 61st. The beginning of a new life starts here. Feeling refreshed, you sit up. Also, something is off. Your sense of sharpness has been enhanced. Calm down. You converse less. Put extra effort into your actions. No effort is required to maintain your behaviors. They identify with you. As a result, your body begins to react. Now your mind isn't fighting you as you work. Rhythm has replaced resistance. And then you begin to notice a change. I don't see any drive in you. You've got this. You aren't striving for anything. It seems like you're living it up. That change. At that very second, it hits you. My identity has changed. However, the genuine benefit, a genuine change. Day 90 is when it arrives. This isn't made up. This is genuine self-assurance. This serves as proof. Everything in your life has changed. You feel like your choices have changed. Everything around you has transformed. You're bringing a fresh vibe. It is felt by many. I can tell you because you sense it. Not because you spoke a word, but now that you're a different person, at a distance, without ceasing, again and again. And how lovely it is. No one should have applauded you. You were self-motivated. Feeling prepared was not necessary. Time and again, you showed up. All day long, each and every one of the steps, in spite of opposition, despite being bored, amidst the stillness. Its authenticity lies in that, and it is the mark of ownership. After 90 days, you can't just observe advancement. A new identity appears to you, made from suffering, crafted by means of iteration, held fast by stillness. This isn't a brief promotion. This is a true change, that kind that remains evergreen, those that can be shared without being posted, the sort that fundamentally alters your identity. Now I'll tell you the truth. Nobody will ever reach this point. It is not due to a lack of ability. Their indecision was the reason, however. They dabbled in new directions. You made a solemn promise. Thus, buckle down when you sense opposition. When monotony sets in, refuse to budge. Celebrate the beginning of a new beginning. Why? Because after 90 days, what will be waiting for you? Could this be the you that they said didn't exist? Soon enough, there will be an opportunity. Perhaps more often than that. The point at which you should stop. Your mind will trick you into thinking it's excessive, that it is irrelevant. It won't matter if you skip one day, that it might be preferable to start afresh down the road. Is that your voice? Logic dictates otherwise. That's just resistance masquerading as friendliness. No one ever gets ready for this section. The struggle they face within. Not the problems that lie outside, not the timetable, not ecologically speaking. Conflict inside. What happens when it does? As soon as your thoughts begin to bargain. Explanation given. Hurrying to get out of there. Never lose sight of your original motivation. Just tell yourself that. The guy who desires simplicity will never get the chance to achieve his full potential. That facet of yours, this version, which is unrecognizable, is disciplined and concentrated. None of us are born into ease. When you keep going, he is born. That's where we draw the boundary. This quality is known as clarity of purpose, a steadfast dedication to an objective that has been precisely set. Just a want, absolutely, without question, making a choice. Oh, and the second you decide, achieve your goals. Giving up is no longer a possibility. When deciding whether or not to train, you no longer examine the weather. You cease inquiring about your desire to write. An inspiration no longer needs to be found. Just turn up. Because your feelings are irrelevant to purpose. Warrior training looks like this, just like a battle. The time is of the essence. Under ideal circumstances, you cannot develop self-control. When you're overwhelmed, construct it. Still, you remain. What are your plans for when that time arrives? As soon as the speaker says, "Quit," you secure the ship. Inhale deeply. Saying your reset phrase activates it. The number I gave was 90. 9 is incorrect. Nothing can be changed by putting in 9 days of work. What a relentless 90 days of locked-in alignment and execution can accomplish. You entered into this agreement with yourself. No way, not in this world, not among those who follow you, in your company. Furthermore, that agreement cannot be altered. Put it in your head. Discomfort is fleeting. Pain is a warning indicator. As a result, you're progressing. Initiating resistance signals the need for change, something that your previous self would perish from. Do not run away from suffering. Make use of it. Allow it to hone you. Permit it to erase the velvety texture. Reasons given. How delicate. Time and again, you persevere. You want it to stop when the benefit you get is immeasurable. Honoring oneself, that and that. That is where self-assurance begins. Therefore, when you feel the need to stop, ignore that, calm down, start over, pay attention again, just repeat it. Not 9, but 90. Return to your job thereafter. You'll find a moment if you linger for a while. At what point does the exertion begin to feel distinct? Where routines are no longer resented, where there is less opposition, where the voice that once spoke. Substitute something more robust since this is too difficult. I am now this person. Inspiring? Not at all. That's who you are. Plus, one's identity is crucial because habits are formed by repeated actions. Your beliefs are shaped by your everyday actions. What you think determines your actions. Things you can live with, your thoughts, what you do. Under the cover of darkness, you're no longer only fulfilling formalities. You aren't sluggishly completing assignments. With each repetition, you're indicating a deeper point. With each ceremony, each subdued discipline. I get what you're saying. I do this on a daily basis. It's just my personality. It goes without saying. The pursuit of the objective has ceased. You're evolving into someone who sets objectives, completes tasks to their satisfaction, and beats them. Just because that's your current routine. You're not making any effort to improve. You have improved. Becoming the best version of yourself isn't something you're waiting for. It's being built by you, at a pace that suits you. A phenomenon known as autosuggestion describes this. Mentally nourishing yourself with the persona you want to be, right up until it starts to grow, and it becomes the new normal for you. This video serves that purpose, this procedure. Watching it just once isn't enough. You have to give yourself completely to it. Read up on it. You watch it again. Telling oneself, this will help your subconscious accept it as true. Finally, it's gone. Because a man's mind can be rewired, shakes up his whole existence. Repeating the correct words again helps, as your ideas change. And when your mind changes, a pattern of behavior emerges. Next, what you do. Next, the results you get. Plus, in due time, you have been completely transformed. And it's not due to hype. However, constancy is the reason. For the simple reason that you anchored it daily. For a period of 90 days. Interjected immediately. I am the constructor. Under no circumstances will I wait. Yeah, I make them. I am not anticipating any significant progress. I am now working on its construction. Keep it going around in your head. On several occasions. Until the certainty outweighs the uncertainty. Surpassing the opposition. Better at being yourself than your previous self was? Given that this will come to a close. There is no turning back. The 90 days do not pass. You come out. Different. More precisely. Completely unrecognizable. Plus, no one will be able to ignore your transformation. Why? Because utter silence will suffice. The outcomes will be the most resounding testimony. So, give it another look. Read it carefully. Just let it retrain you. Engrave it deeply into your brain. When you stop trying to make things happen, the work will naturally flow. It's in your blood. You shift like this, with hardly a single choice. But with 90 days of becoming, they will be caught off guard. And it is the main idea. Gone for a whole 3 months. Allow them to be perplexed by your absence. Then let them speculate. Just pretend you slipped and fell, that you despaired of. You extinguished the flames. Ignore their mistakes. Stand your ground. Keep silent. and construct. Simply said, they aren't necessary for the success of what you're doing. It requires your whole attention, doing it with all the heart. Not a commitment that works for you. Totally committed. Completely committed. I am trapped. Staying focused. All day long. Every representative. Each and every one of the bricks. Also, you'll have evidence to back up your reappearance, unrelated to the post. A speech is not what this is. Evidence. It will show up in your energy levels before it does in your output. It will come over in your speech, body language, and overall demeanor, and they'll come to terms with the fact that you're not the same person they knew before. When you make a firm decision, that is the result. When you've had enough of haggling, when you stop seeking and begin to become, returning with a new perspective, more precisely. Calm down, greater strength. No, it's not because you lied. Nevertheless, you deserve it. Plus, you leave out the details when you do this. As a consequence, you should show rather than tell. Your stillness reverberated more strongly than their din. Because this is the reality. Being visible is not necessary. Make yourself impossible to ignore. Therefore, if a part of you suddenly became conscious, when you're feeling a raging inferno within, don't give up after 10 minutes. Keep it bright even when the screen turns off. Make a firm decision. Set it to 90. Pick a choice. Make a note of it. Create the framework. Turn down the volume. And meet the you who has been waiting on the other side of this battle if you allow yourself that opportunity. And if you were moved by this video, sign up. This is only the first step towards something more profound. There must be something more, something tangible. Once you feel prepared, go on to the next level. Take a look at the recording that follows. See more than simply the metamorphosis. Embrace it. Proceed now. Settle in. Dim the lights. Leave a new impression.